Hello and welcome! Today we're going to be discussing Make Mine Music. It was released in April of 1946 and I would basically compare it to a modern day Fantasia for that time period. This once again is just like Fantasia and Fantasia 2000 where it's not really a narrative, it's just a series of short musical numbers to animation and there's not really a plot. There's 10 parts, not everything is that amazing. The first scene that we open up on is this hillbilly saga where you got these two sides fighting against each other, but the girl and the guy of these families, after killing each other off, end up falling in love. But then after they get married, they have a fight themselves. And what's interesting is this version is not on all the DVDs and releases on VHS even. They took it off because of how much violence there was with guns, and as we went through modern society there was a lot more gun violence, so they thought it was too risque for Disney, which is really interesting. But the highlight from that scene is that you have this very sexy looking Annie Oakley type character, that she's feisty. What's also really interesting to me is going and looking back at this time period, how much Americana takes place in here. Since I've grown up on the East Coast, I'm a little bit different from the rest of America. And I mean, you could tell me if you disagree, I don't know, but it seems like a lot of the Midwest and the South, they have that traditional stereotypical Americana, baseball, football, gun violence, and I know I'm being stereotypical, but I don't know how else to explain it. And I feel like it's kind of the same way here, where you have the scene where it's all about the Western and how cowboys are and how great it is. A little bit later on you have a whole musical number dedicated to baseball and different things like that. That's why I like to consider it a modern day Fantasia for the 40s. Within these 10 scenes you switch from really relaxing numbers to the most chaotic scenes that you could imagine. And it's very jolting. It's kind of that opposite effect that it doesn't lead into each other smoothly, and it's something that kind of takes you out of the element, at least for my opinion. My favorite scene was something that I already knew before I watched this film. It's the Benny Goodman number, All the Cats Join In. I adore this so much. It's just a simple little dance number where the teenagers are jumping into cars, going to the malt shop, and having a gay old time swing dancing, and I love Benny Goodman. Seeing that Benny Goodman did a whole cartoon based off his music was fantastic. I love the animation of it. I love the fact that this pencil sketch is drawing this out and it's all happening within motion. You're seeing this pencil sketch out, and it's really meta because you know that pencil was sketching the pencil, drawing these characters. My only concern with this scene is that when they're drawing one of the girls, her butt's too big. If only they knew about the whole switch around, how big butts are beautiful. Sir Mix-a-Lot. If only they were introduced to Sir Mix-a-Lot. Things have changed so much. Thank you, Sir Mix-a-Lot, Nicki Minaj. But thank you for contributing to the Big Butt Saga. And I'm getting off track, so we're gonna continue on. Besides All the Cats Join In, the Two Silhouettes number was my favorite.
Hearts on fire will soon inspire the skies to dance. The flames that stray will light the way to our romance.
And you know that this is live action, that they were experimenting with animation, but it's fantastic. And it's just a nice little peaceful ballet that was wonderful, and this is something I really enjoyed. There's not that much to say about it. It's literally a ballet and you just have these silhouette numbers, but the music matches up, the scene matches up, it's gorgeous. So that one is another one that I really appreciated seeing. So that's like number 2 of my favorite in this film. A lot of people know this film because this is where Peter and the Wolf came from. And personally watching this, I was a little bit bored with the animation. Probably because I've seen it so many times myself. I didn't really remember it, but I know what it is. And this was one of the masterpieces that came out of it. But I really don't have any comment about it. It's a typical fairy tale. It's animated. A wolf dies. Peter wins. The end. There's not really that much I can really say about it. A little bit later, there is a love story that is sung by the Andrews sisters, who also I love very much, about hats.
'Twas love at first sight, and they promised one night they'd be sweethearts forevermore.
And the fedora, to me, looks like a stingray, so that was a little bit distracting. But we go through this whole love scene where they're together, and then they get split apart, and he's going and searching for her, and they can't find her, and he's basically homeless, and he's out on his luck down the streets, but then this person picks him up, cuts some holes into him, which did that hurt? If he's a hat that can feel motion, did he feel those cut holes into his body? Put him on a horse hat, and next to him is his love, bell bottom. And I found myself getting emotional at this stupid scene at the end that they were together over hats, over inanimate objects that are hats. I found myself getting emotional and feeling for these inanimate objects. So I give them credit. I give you points for making me feel emotions for a hat. The final scene is the whale that wanted to sing opera. And I know I was reading comments and a lot of people felt really bad about it because he gets shot in the end and he dies. I was very annoyed by it. I felt it was a very obscure story. Why is this whale singing opera? It doesn't make sense. Logically, I know, yes, I know. I just said that I always loved a hat story that fell in love with each other, and I'm questioning about a whale singing opera, I know. But it just didn't click for me. I felt really annoyed at the whale. I didn't care that he got shot. I was annoyed that he was singing in heaven and that there was a sold out show, and it just was a very weird story. It was a very weird way to end this film as a final scene. So I'm probably the 1% that didn't enjoy it. Overall, just like I said with Fantasia and with Fantasia 2000, it's a really great film to put in the background and basically just listen to while you're doing something else, whether it be a puzzle or cooking even, and just having it in the background, or coloring. Adult coloring is still in, yeah, or anything like that. So if you want something to keep you company to just put on, it's great. This one I did not enjoy as much as I did with Fantasia, but I also feel like a lot of these scenes were rejected from Fantasia, and I know that other people have said the same thing. If you want to check it out one time, I definitely say it's definitely a one-time scene just to see it at least. But otherwise, it's not as enjoyable as the other ones are, but that's my opinion. Tomorrow we're going to continue with Fun and Fancy Free, which is another one of this musical series. But this one also features Mickey a lot more, so it's more traditional. So we're going to check it out. And as always, I hope you have a magical day, and I will see you real soon.